Guys, Omar, Truth of Progression. So, yesterday was a pretty rough day for me. We'll start out, just put it out there. Like I said, this is about finding your truth, dealing with things and going through things and finding a way to make it through those issues and struggles and battles and whatever it is that you've got going on. So it's an everyday deal that we deal with. It's not about sympathy. It's not about looking for people to cry out to and do all those things. It's about just community, okay? It's about being that voice box for people that want to say something, that want to talk about things, that want to have somebody to lean on but don't really know how. That's what this is. And so the only way to keep doing it and the only way to keep, bringing people in is to keep doing this and putting myself out there and being upfront about it. So again, it's not about sympathy. Like I said, yesterday was a pretty rough day for me. Saw the kidney doctor and knew it was coming. It's an inevitable thing. Dialysis is coming up next, so I got to get scheduled to go see a surgeon to get a port thing put in so I can start doing that at night. Luckily, they have home options to where I'm not having to go to a clinic 3 times a week and do it in a clinic. Kind of like the Matrix, just plug in and do it while I'm sleeping. So here's what it is. But bottom line is that it's not going to change things that are happening. It's not going to change the movement. It's not going to change the process. It's not going to change my job. Not going to change anything that's going on except adding another thing that I have to do on a regular basis to take care of myself. So it's all about finding those ways to get through, finding a way to get back to normal, finding a way to keep going forward and keep doing it. It's about sitting here and doing the things that nobody else is willing to do. And I've said it before, it's about being intentional and really changing your ways because of the things that have happened in the past, things that you've gone through, things that you've seen, or maybe things that you've done. I know that part of the reason I'm doing all this is because I was that person. I was that person that lied and broke promises and did things I shouldn't have done. But hey, that doesn't define my future. My past is not going to be who I am forever. And people need to understand that. It's not a life sentence because you messed up or did something wrong or said something or did something or hurt somebody. We do this as human beings. But it's what you do next is what matters. I do this because maybe if I put myself out there with good intentions, then maybe it'll help a few folks finish their day with their heads held high. Or maybe it'll help somebody get up off the ground they can't take it no more. Put the bottle down, put the needle down, put the drugs away, do all those things. It's what if? What if it can? Why not? So last night I'm sitting there in bed and I'm laying there and I've got the kidney numbers that the doctor told me that's putting me on dialysis now. I've got, CPS cases, court cases, the things that are going on at my house that I'm not around for, the lawyers, 100 other things, whatever else is going on, just constantly going and going and going. And I got to a point where I'm sitting there laying there thinking about all of them over. And I had to stop and check myself and literally get on to myself because I was just doing the damn Ferris wheel over and over. It was just like a Ferris wheel with a bunch of monkeys on it. That's what it felt like, right? I had to stop. And in that moment, when I stopped and I had that conversation with myself, I got up and I went and looked in the mirror and I talked just like I was talking to somebody else and checked myself. Walked out of there and I went and picked up my Bible and I went and laid in bed and I read for 30 minutes. And I slept like a baby. Did the issues go away? Did the problems leave? Did I wake up and magically everything was just perfect and back to normal and I get to see my kid again and all the above? No, it's all the same. Matter of fact, I woke up and it was all there again. But what that means is that it's the choice. I could have chosen to woke up at 4:30 this morning and realized, hey, all that crap's still there. You know what? Screw it, I'm going back to bed. No. I got up, I did my workout, I did my meditation, I did my prayer, I ate my breakfast, got my gym in, set my 3 goals for the day. Same thing, the patterns don't change. Keep the cycle the same thing. Even when things get tough, you start to feel like things are falling apart. You've got to keep going, you got to get up. Especially if you've got kids, if you've got people depending on you, you still got to get up and go do those things. You have to find a way to make it through there. How do we do that, right? So I use myself as an example because I put myself out there. I put those things out there for everybody to know and see and understand and process how I deal with those. So Dialysis. It's not a joke. It's real life. It's coming. I got to go get some port thing put in so I can hook up to the machine, a matrix every night and start doing that. Okay. What's the positive in it? Positive is that I'm not going to a clinic 3 times a week, sitting there for hours and hours. Positive is I can still stay at home and do this from my bed. Is it an inconvenient? Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to suck. But my life's not going to stop. I'm not going to completely have to stop doing whatever I'm doing. I have to make adjustments and account for those things that I've got to do and deal with it. My kid's not gone forever. My situation isn't forever. And that's the thing that people struggle with, is understanding that it's not forever. It is a short period of time. It's a season. It's a chapter. Just like a book, the chapter flips over and things change. George Bernard Shaw said, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." Read that again. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. That's pretty simple. It's a very deep statement. It's a very deep quote, but it's simple. If you think that you can go through life and you can go through all these things and trials and tribulations and think that you can just adjust easily to each one of them and just keep going and not actually have to account for change and not actually have to physically make accommodations or do things differently, you're not going to do it. You have to understand that it takes real commitment, real dedication, and real understanding of what the problem is. And it has to go down to the root. A lot of people don't get that. So you take a situation and you try and dissect it and figure out, okay, well, where is the problem? Where does it start, right? If you don't go to the root of that problem, the root of that foundation, and figure out what it is, it's just like a house, just like a building. It's going to keep coming back. The same thing I've told people over and over again when they talk about situations and they want advice or they want affirmation of their choices that they're going to make or they might make. And I've had to tell several people that I can give you advice, I can give you my opinion, I can give you a story, I can do whatever. But at the end of the day, if you don't commit and make those conscious decisions on your own, then you're going to go back to what you did before. We always revert back unless we make that ultimate commitment. And you have to make that commitment with sacrifice and dedication. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So how do we focus on specific issues that are bothering us or plaguing us or our families or friends or our close relatives, whatever it is? How do we deal with those? You have a system. You come up with something that you are going to do intentionally every single time something comes up in your life. You repeat the process every time. You find a system that works for you and you use it every time. Mine? Pray. That's my number one thing. Pray. Believe in the power of prayer. I know it's a touchy subject, but like I said from the very beginning, this is about spirituality. This is about motivation, inspiration, fitness, all the above. So spirituality does play a big key part in this system. Believe in the power of prayer. The other thing that people forget about prayer is that it's a conversation. It doesn't have to be, there's other people that believe differently, and that's perfectly fine. Me personally, I don't think that you have to start with the Lord's Prayer and finish with the Lord's Prayer and do this and do that. And there's no right or wrong to pray. There's no ways to do things. I mean, you do your own thing. You have your own conversation, your own communication, your own relationship with God. So there's not a textbook on how you need to pray. Just pray. I sit down and I pray. I talk to God in the truck. I talk to God when I'm walking. I talk out loud. I talk in silence. It doesn't matter. I have a conversation. I have a relationship. And that's what you need. Evaluate. Evaluate the issues. Write them down. I said it yesterday. You can think about 100 things in your mind over and over and over again and say, hey, you know what? I've got 10 things I've got to do today, and I'm going to do them all in order, and I'm just going to go. Right? You walk out the door and you got 3 of those things done because you forgot the other ones. Then you got home and then you're like, oh, damn, there was 3 other things I was supposed to go do today, but you didn't do them. Write them down. Get you a journal. Use your smartphone. Use the notes in them. Do those things to keep notes and keep track of what's going on. I've got friends that deal with things that are real life medical things that I've encouraged them to, hey, write it down. Write it down so you can keep track of it and go back and look at it and say, hey, I remember this happened. I remember this happened. Seek out help. There's a lot of people that are unable to just talk about their feelings and emotions and things like that, and that's understandable. I was never a big believer or, pusher for counseling. I was never a big, pusher for psychologists, things like that. But going through situations and having to go and visit with those people and get involved in those situations, it turned things around for me. It actually opened my eyes to the fact that it's not about judgment. It's not about those things. It's about having the ability to communicate with somebody else that understands human emotions, that understands feelings and how we deal with things and go through things and how our mind works. Because the mind is a very tricky place. And I've said it before, if you don't have control of your mind, then you don't have control of anything. Because your mind will wander, your mind will convince you that the sky is green. I promise you, it will. Along with, seeking out guidance, it's not just counselors. It doesn't have to be an official thing. Call your parents, call a relative, call your neighbor, call a friend. Matter of fact, if you're feeling bad enough or you really can't figure something out, call me. I'm always around. Like I said, this is about doing things for other people. This is about creating a movement, creating a system, creating a community, and an outreach outlet for those that need it. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here to do. And that's what a lot of people that follow this are here for. And I guarantee you, and I know from the bottom of my heart that there is a ton of people that watch these videos that I have no doubt that I could call on, that somebody could call on, and they'd be there in a heartbeat to help or even just to listen. You'd be surprised at how many good people actually surround you on a daily basis. Don't be afraid. Reach out, put a smile on, say hi to somebody, be nice to somebody, lend a hand, do something good for somebody else. You feel better about yourself when you do things for others, okay? I hope this helped. I hope this kind of put some perspective on certain things. I know it was a lot to go through and cover and do all that. So if y'all got questions, if y'all got suggestions, anything like that, I'm always open to hear. I'm always down to talk about stuff. So hope y'all have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.